Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful morning. And today I would like to go over the XRP price chart. So, a few things have happened since we last left off. XRP has been in a downward range, doing a consolidation after this original breakout around July 10th. So, we got our original breakout on July 10th. And this was our big consolidation structure that took a long time. We finally got here. Let me go to a larger view just so we could really start from a place where everyone can see. This was our original breakout right here. We remember that. It was in December. And then, I personally thought this was the correction here and that we were going to go ahead and get our move up. We stalled out here at 350 around there, and then we consolidated in this consolidation. So here was our breakout right here, best part of the move. And then now we did get somewhat of a small pullback. From our last video, we talked about this area down here recently. Let me go to the 4 hour. From this area, we talked about recently that you might come down and sweep this low right here to pull liquidity before you get your move up. It took a little bit longer, it's extended. This is a macro pattern, so sometimes things can happen a little bit slower, but I believe when it does go ahead and break out, it's going to go faster. So we're kind of right here. We had this consolidation here, we got the breakdown, there's our liquidity sweep, we swept it. And now we came up and made a little bit of a higher high here. So I'd say it's hard to draw an exact line there, but we kind of came up and this was our higher low. And then, so this was our higher low. Actually, yeah, we're still trying to make that higher high here. So we're looking for that breakout of this structure. And on a real level, XRP is still making the same consolidation structure that it has. I think that everything here is pretty much ready to go, and I see every part of an XRP consolidation. It is a little bit larger on this first move here, so that will be the first move there. This is the second move here, and this little small area right here would potentially be the midpoint for this structure, and you would actually get something like that. Now, it is possible that that's our structure in consolidation, then we get our move up. I think macro is kind of telling us that right now. But, it is possible that we come down and take this low, even if just right there, and we take this and then we go. It could be a pattern extension. We might have a couple more days, maybe the 8th, 9th, 10th. Hopefully, it runs soon. But we're on actually smaller time frames now. So we're no longer waiting for that large macro breakout. We are in the process of the macro breakout. Um, so XRP, we're looking good. The whole market, we're looking good. So we talked about right here, be careful of this stop. You might get run. So we did get run. This structure looks a lot more convincing for me to say that this would be a bottom right here at 2.72. I'm not even sure that we're going to go back down there anymore. I think that might be it. That looks like a very valid bottom. This one was not so much. This one definitely is. And I think we're still going to get that parabola steepening here. As far as Litecoin, let's check out Litecoin. I know there was some hustle and bustle. We got a little move here. Ooh, yeah. So let's see. Litecoin, it was doing its consolidation. Let me get us a better chart, actually. Some of my charts are all marked up. Let's see. I'm gonna go to the USD, go to Coinbase. This one is the one that we use, so hopefully it's a little bit more familiar here. We'll go to a longer time frame here. And a lot of people were saying, here's a point right here. A lot of people were saying that Litecoin was dead and there was no developer activity and different things like that. And I think in hindsight we can see, oh, okay, now it ramped up and we started to get a little bit of news coming in. LTC has been outperforming and it's been hanging high. And the best thing I heard from a developer was that I said, okay, well, something about price, and he said he wasn't worried about price and that when price moves, okay, this is what he said. When price moves, developer activity comes back. So a lot of people say this coin is dead in the funnel here. It's the quietest part, right? You get this normal XRP type consolidation right here. That's your third wave right here. So we haven't broken out yet, but you're getting a traditional consolidation here. And it goes super low vol. There's not much activity. People said Litecoin is dead, but then when price goes up, that's when developer activity returns. So you might look at this coin and say there's not much developer activity, but once the price moves up and everyone gets interested, there's plenty of it. So I don't think that's a good argument for why, you know, a crypto wouldn't move up because it's dead and there's no developer activity. I mean, this coin has a perfect consolidation, and we are potentially breaking out of our wedge right now. For Litecoin, this low right here of 77 will probably hold. But if we get a break, our real move is our break around 150. And remember, I said I think when it breaks this level, that's one of the most powerful parts of the move, except for the blow off top later. So we're going to continue to watch this structure, but XRP has made a consolidation, started to move up off the lows. Litecoin is showing signs of major strength here, getting a breakout, new structures. Litecoin got the higher high. You know, here's your funnel right here. Then you came here. This is a smaller funnel here. You could use this probably at 77, but you come up here, and what's this? Higher low, higher high, and if you break this line of 148 around there, you're about to go for a trip, in my opinion. So I'm super excited for Litecoin. Is there anything else I want to touch on? Let's just do the Bitcoin dominance because there's a couple of things to see here. Let's go 15. Yeah, so okay, we're kind of in. I know this is a little confusing. I'm going to try to clean this up for everyone. Get rid of some of the more useless lines here. So here, take this out. Okay. So we're about right here. So Bitcoin dominance, we know what the macro looks like. My chart's too confusing, but pretty much we know back in July we got that original slam down, which was amazing. And we finally got some alts starting to move. We're ramping up with the narrative. It's going to be block tokenized treasuries, and it's going to be, last cycle narratives and big companies like Mara and Grayscale. It's Grayscale, and then also Michael Saylor. People like this are going to be part of the narrative for tokenizing all securities, real world asset tokenization. So we're getting our narrative here. And liquidity conditions look extremely good. So anyway, we got our first little spout right there, and that was the teaser, right, in the beginning. And then now, since July 25th, we've been consolidating here. This really was all July, and we just turned to August. Um, it's a rising wedge. This is a rising structure. You got a higher high here, so this signals that you're going to get a breakdown. So you're on a bear pole, you're making a rising wedge. Here's the splitter right here going through the middle of this rising wedge, and you can see you respect it fairly well. Came down here, we came up, we touched the splitter, and then we got a nice little dump down, breaking structure here at the bottom. Um, I was looking at this, on the lower time frame, and I saw that down here, you got a little head and shoulder type structure for Bitcoin dominance. So recently, August 4th, like 3 days ago, you were kind of chopping here. You got a nice little move here, but then you started to get a little, reversion. And I saw this little head and shoulders here. It was a little complicated. This shoulder was lower than this shoulder. You don't necessarily want to see that. So this shoulder was lower than this shoulder. This was the head. There's your neckline, a reasonable neckline. And it did perform to target. So it performed to target right to the splitter of this wedge. And then it got knocked out right here. And that was about all it had. And then it came over, rolled over, and now it looks like it wants to go for the bottom side of this wedge. So are we gonna get a breakdown from the bottom side of this wedge? Because if we are, we're probably gonna get a teaser move first. I'm not saying it's all gonna happen at once, but probably gonna get a teaser move here first. Come down here maybe, teaser move through here, and then go. So if I drew that, you might get like here, like get a teaser move, and then come down. Something. It could be something like this. Um, I'm expecting. I'm expecting us to break down out of this, pull back a little bit, spend some hang time, and then eventually roll over. So that puts us around the 12th. So I mean, we're only talking 5 days here. The time frames are getting smaller and smaller before we could potentially get a move on Bitcoin dominance and break down. Normally with these wedges, you're gonna want to see three touches. So one, two, one, two, two, about to make two. You might get three, three, and you might stagnate until about the 16th. But we're hoping it's a little bit sooner. It seems like everything's ramping up, speeding up. Different altcoins are popping. Litecoin finally showed strength, and we have our narrative. You know, um, Tom Lee is heading the narrative with Fundstrat, and he's really the voice for Wall Street right now to go ahead and get into the crypto sphere. They got the green light from banks, and from the government for regulation, and pretty much they're going to be allowed to use these assets now as collateral and market on their balance sheet. So they are going to be able to say, okay, we no longer have to put it as a liability. We can put it as an asset. And that's going to allow traditional finance to step in. Traditional finance is already stepping in. That's part of the narrative. We're closer to the top than we are the bottom. But as far as price, I think we still have a long way to go. So that's the narrative. Banks, institutions, we're front running the institutions. I mean, we're not really. They were there for a long time, unless you were there at least in 2021, 2017. But they know where the technology is going. They like instantaneous payments. We all do. So that's going to at least be the narrative, and I expect this to continue for a couple of months here. So as far as XRP, we'll just take one more look. We're getting a traditional XRP structure here. I'm going to go ahead and clear this. Yeah, so here's your liquidity sweep right down here. Let me see if I can grab this. Here's your liquidity sweep right down there. And XRP, higher highs. It stays at a level. That's why we love XRP. It stays at a level, fractalizes, and then boom. So was that the breakout, or do we need some kind of continuation here? It looks good, and I'm gonna guess that that low on the 2nd of August will be the low before we start to ramp up for the parabola. This might not even happen. That's just a guess. I'm just saying the parabola is getting steeper. So I hope everyone has a great day, and we're closer than ever. So thank you.